Hello everyone, welcome to Echo Art with Carmella-T. So I wanted to jump on here today and share with you that I am continuing to work on different items for the art and craft fair. And you know, I thought it was like a week away or like this weekend. So I'm really happy to say that it's next week. So I'm really happy about that. So it gives us a whole week and a half to kind of work on things. So yesterday I was on here crocheting. I just want to, I put this hat on top of the lacy crochet. So this is the hat that I made, and I added a little flower to it. So we were crocheting and kind of bringing it out a little bit so it would have a little more oomph, a little more like be a little bit of a slouchy. And I gave it a little band. Now the way I got these little kind of bobble type of effect is I had just skipped a little bit more than one space and brought it in. So what you have to do is crochet a very large diameter, and then when you're bringing it in, you're kind of skipping a good maybe 2 or 3, so you're really bringing it in, but staying consistent with every 2 or 3 spaces you bring it in, and then you get that kind of little bobble. So, and then this is the little the little band that I put on there. Hi, how are you? So that's kind of you can put the flower on either side, and this is kind of it's not as slouchy as I would have liked, but you know what? For a variegated, this is a variegated yarn. I'm telling you, it's really cutesy. I like it. So, and I like the flower on it. It just kind of gives it a little bit of a vintage vibe. So we're going to make another one. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I used to, so a long time ago, and you've heard me say this so many times. Hi, Emma and Moki and Girl on Friday 97. These hats were so popular way back 2005, 2006, 7, 8, 9. 2009, the little mom and pop stores started to have problems, and a lot of them started to close. So, but these were super popular, and people even like them now because you know what it is? It's a classic style, and I'm wild about it. I love it. Now, this hat, I'm gonna put my hat on, just show you. This beanie is, it doesn't have a flower on it, but you know what? If I put a little flower on that, it would change the whole vibe of this very simple beanie, okay? The whole vibe. Or look here, or button. Let me just show you here. You could put a button on this. Just check it out for a minute. Oh, I like that button actually. Look at that. I'm just gonna lay this down. I have a few things to show you. Okay, can you see the button there? But you see it changes the whole vibe of, it really does. Just one tiny little simple piece of decor changes the entire vibe of a very plain hat. So, you know, hats are an incredibly simple way to, I'm going to put this on because my hair is a mess. I change shampoos, and when I do that, it gets really funky. It really does, because it's a wave curl hat, hair. I don't know, it just gets weird. I guess I should buy for curly. Anyway, for wavy. So I'm just gonna leave my hat on. That's it. So I want to show you something else. So I'm making a hat. So we'll start a hat. I don't know if I should start a hat. You tell me what you want. These are what you want them to be, fingerless gloves, or I guess they can be like you can pull them up on the wrist. But I made them to be fingerless gloves. Is that just too darn cute? You know what that is? It's a granny square. So we're gonna make, I have to make these because these sold well. So we can, all it is a granny square. That is all that it is. And you just keep going around and around and around. So, and that's, we'll do that together because it's a little different than how you do. It's not really too different, but it might be for some a little different on how we do the regular granny square. So I'm going to be making these, but today I'm just going to kind of jump in and make another hat. And I'm going to start it with you. So people love, love, love green. So especially in Vermont. No, they do, because it's the Green Mountain State. So they associate the hat, you know what I mean? They associate it with UVM, University of Vermont. And your girl adds, hi, how are you? And because their colors are green and gold. So now I hadn't really thought of it before until I started thinking more of theming the my different items. Now, so I'm going to make a green hat, and then we'll figure out a flower for it, and then I'm gonna make. We're jumping in and making a bunch of hats this weekend, and we're gonna just make them simple. Now the next one, I'm not making the bobble. I'm just making it like this, okay? So we'll start to curve it a little quicker, and I'm going to use I'm going to start off with a larger crochet hook. Look how big this is. That's what I'm going to use. What is this? It's an L. This is an L. So it feels much larger than that. So I'm just going to put this down on the floor. Now I have the TV on in front of me over here, and on the other side I just want to show you, to give you a little smile, on my little finches. There's my finches, and see how they're flying around? Did you just see how she flew? So she's able to fly in the cage, and so because the cage is large enough. So let me tell you something, the finches are very tiny. I mean, they are so small, I can't seriously even wrap my brain around it. Hi, Marty. Hi, Mr. Drifter. So here we go. Let me just take a sip of coffee, and I want to say thank you, my friends on TikTok, for being with me today. I started to drop some videos over on Instagram too, so I need to continue over there. I really do. Okay, so I'm using an L hook. Hi, Marty. Hi. And I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna do 5. Now, look, if you make the chain, hi, Jamie Black. If you make the chain too long, like, because what you're going to do is slip knot it here. You're just going to slip knot it to get your little circle going. If the circle is too wide or something like that, just remember, you can always put a little stitch in. Usually it's not, it just relaxes, and that's usually not an issue at all. But if you think that it is, put just one little stitch in. Hi, Toe, how are you? So now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and I just simply am doing my double crochets. I'm not doing any chains between them because I'm using a very large hook right now, so it's kind of making the double crochets. We should do treble. It's making the double crochets like enough length there, but you know what the treble is? seriously, I want to say it's like yes, 3. It's like 3 times that you're stitching, getting ready to stitch. This is the concept. It's 3 times you're getting ready to stitch a double crochet before you close it. When you do it the 3rd time, then you close it. I haven't done them in a long time, so I have to review and make sure that is correct. Wait, now we're going to also make a hat this week with bobbles, you know, with the little bobbles. And that's super duper easy, super duper fun. You will love it. And we're going to do that. We are going to do that. Okay, so I'm not doing any chains in between here. And I notice it's giving me a little tightness there, a little tug, a little bit of a curve. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is one more here. I'm doing 2 double crochets now in a single space. So now I'm doing 2 double crochets in a single space, starting right here actually. I'll do it right here. I'm just going in each space. Let's see, we have got some sunshine here in Vermont. Hi, Julian. Hi, Chimera. Hi, is that Apina? I'm not getting the last name. And Kiernan. Hi, Kathy. Hi, everybody. So glad you're with me today. So, what did I say? 2 double crochet in each space. Is that what I said, or did I say 1? Anyway, it looks like I need to do 2. So I'm doing 2 double crochet in each space. I'm not doing any chains right now because you know why? This hook, this is an L hook. Look how big that is. It's huge. So I'm just going to stay, and I might add a double crochet in a space where if I think it's pulling too much, but it's really not pulling too much right now. And this is a lovely, and I'm really going to have a lot of fun. We are, and you think about this. So look, I dressed this hat up with the little flower. Oh, you probably want to know how to do the flowers. So we'll do the flowers. We will do the flowers. So I'm just going to tell you, for those of you who can, you know, have experience. Okay, the way I did that flower is I did chain 5, slip stitch, okay, connect, slip stitch, and then I did 6, chain 6, and then brought it down, like skipped a chain, just brought it down. This is how you get your little loops. Now you can bring those loops back into the same space where you started, but I kind of went over a couple because I just like the roundness of it, and that's how I did it all the way around, and I only did that 1 round. So we'll do it on here together so you understand what I'm talking about better. But no, I just love the flowers. Now, I got to tell you, I personally have not noticed, I don't know about you, hi Hayden, any new, like really new textile kind of designs with the crocheting. I have noticed, you know, the one where they have the hat and they're not using a bobble, but I am going to show you what stitch they are using. I know what they're using. Hi, Savvy. Hi, how are you today? Oh, now you just stop. But thank you. I'll take the compliment. I'm so much fun on this channel. So the stitch that the hat that has, you know, the like the little rabbit foot or the little fur, I shouldn't use word, has a little fur bobble. Those are the hats. Let me tell you what, those hats have been popular for the past 3 years. they're just not going away for some reason. Hi, cabinets. Hi, Yuli. And I don't know why they're so popular. I mean, they are really cutesy, but you know what? I noticed something today that just caught my eye. And I've seen it before. It's an old style and it does give a vintage vibe and it's adorable. So, do you know if you're familiar at all, let me take a minute to tell you because it's just adorable. If you're familiar with they're hats like this, but they're not, they're 1922. They're the, I don't even know the name of the, kind of the jazzy kind of style hats way back. So they're not crochet, I want to say cloth, no, that's not the name of them either. But they're cloth beanies. They're cloth beanies. And they, so what they're doing, they're taking the design that they did way back in 1922s, 1920s, the roaring 1920s, those styles. And they're making flowers like this, and they're putting all different flowers on the hat. So you can make a cloth hat like this. We're going to make this because you know what? I'm not crazy about the cloth, but we could do a crochet hat and then put the flowers on. To me, that would make much more sense because you'd get the stretch and everything. Hi, Debbie. But we'll have to see. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. This is waking me up. I really need it. I've been draggy. I'll be much better in the next couple days. I'll get my energy back. When I work and I come home and do my artwork or do it before I go to work, then I get myself a little tired, but it's okay. I need to do all of it. So now I'm doing just two double crochets, no chains. I'm still not doing any chains. Now, is this a pattern or I'm just making it up as I go? I'm making it up as I go. I am. Just by looking at it, by keeping an eye on it. Now, if I have any spaces I think are too much, it's kind of spacey as it is, which is okay. But look, so you know that's an idea, right? Kind of just put, I made some I want to call them crazy hats way back between 2005 2009. We'll make those hats again. But what I was doing, if any of you are familiar with the cable stitch, when you do the cable stitch, you're really crocheting it in the design as you go. Not me. You know what I did? I made like FAUX, the faux part, faux. It was a pretend cable stitch. I made it right on top of the hat, all over the hat. And people loved it. And we'll do that again too. So these designs are, you know, they're free for all. I mean, the stitches are out there for you to kind of go crazy with and just kind of make up whatever it is you want to do at that moment, in my opinion. That's your best creativity, in my opinion. So look, I'm just continuing. That's all I'm doing is 2 double crochets in the same space. And it's just given me enough to keep it nice and flat. That's your goal, is you want to keep it flat until you're ready to curve it. And that would be about, I'm just looking for of course I probably moved it. No, here it is. And that would be about 9-10 inches. You got to be careful when you get to the 10. This is the reason. The 10, when you have a 10-inch diameter, and how do you measure that? Some people, yes, they measure it straight across. The typical way to do it is to take your circle and just fold it like that and then measure across here. If this comes out to whatever it is, like a 5, let's say, if it's a 5, let's see what this is. Oh, look, it's almost a 5, it's 4.5. So 4.5 is like a 9-inch diameter. So you just multiply it by 2. That's basically the way they do it in the crochet world, right? So I'm just going to keep going around, and I just am, I feel so bad. I got to tell you right now, I mean, I'm watching the weather here on, now it's not giving more than a view of a window view. Like there's no drones flying around in Jamaica and everything. But the update, I'm watching, what channel am I watching? This weatherman is pretty good. His name is Ryan Hall Y'all. That's the name of his, sorry about that. That is the name of his station. Ryan Hall Y'all. And so he's showing kind of like a window view, but he just said, this is what he said. In Jamaica, they were just getting ready to move 500, I believe he said 500,000 people. He said 500,000, something like an incredible, oh, my bird just threw water on me. I think they're getting ready for a bath, so we're gonna kind of move. We gotta move, because if we get the phone wet, then you know what I mean? They need a little space. So we'll go like that. Okay, I don't mind if I get wet, but I just don't want the, and we'll move our hats too. Okay, so with that. But yeah, so they moved that many people, and they're a couple of hours into the storm. So hopefully, or they're getting ready to evacuate that. I guess they have to get them to another location. They thought they were all safe in the locations that people were in. This is the thing about storms. You really just don't know until the storm is actually sitting right on your land what's going on. Okay, now this is if it gets, look, see, I don't know if you can see this. If it starts to get a little bulky, okay, or too flappy, that you don't want it to be any looser. Like you don't want to add any more stitches, okay, because you want to get a nice kind of consistency. So I'm just looking at this, and so I'm coming to the end of the round of 2 stitches in 1 space. So what I'm going to do now is I want to go to, just to keep it consistent, because it's getting a little too flappy. So I don't want to continue in the next round where there's 2 double crochet in 1 space and continue putting 2 double crochet in that space, and then that, because now I've doubled up spaces. So now I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each space, and I'm not going to do any chains. So that's what I'm doing, and this is moving. Now this is real time. Look how fast we've moved along, and I've even stopped a few times to talk and then kind of move over a little bit. So the timing, so when you use an L hook and you use medium weight yarn and you're using a nice stitch like a double crochet, you know, good size stitch, your hat is going to move along. So this is nice because this is tightened up a tiny bit, and I'm super happy with that. So that's a really good. And she's taking a bath. Let's see if you can see. Oh, they are so smart. She knew I put the camera on her. Can you believe that? A finch, a teeny tiny little bird. But they are like those little Jurassic Park dinosaurs. I swear they are. They look at me like this, like they turn their head like that. They do. I'm like, and they'll be watching me crochet. I'm telling you, I never thought the little finches were so smart. Incredibly smart. So anyway, I am definitely getting ahead here on making these hats, because I not only am making them for the art and craft fair, but I want to make some and send them to Jamaica. I believe, look, I hope they come out of this with no real damage. I mean, I don't know, because we can't really see what's going on, but how wonderful it would be if they come out of it and it was just a really bad storm. I'm gonna try to turn this again, see if she gets it. She's taking a bath. Now watch her take. What you doing, Omi? You taking your bath? Yeah. See how she steps into the water? They're so darn cute. Now, I gotta tell you why they're so smart. I actually have a bath in there on the floor that they could fit in and get into. They don't want to. They keep using their little water dish. That's what they're choosing. So they're making an independent decision to get in their water dish. So I figure I'd show you that. I gotta tell you something. I want to figure out how to crochet, like, or do a little applique for a bird and put it on the hat for birders, because I don't have a group to go with, and I'm not going alone by myself into the Adirondacks. When my kids were really little, we as a family would go into the woods, and that was great. But nowadays, no, I'm not going to go in the woods by myself. I would get lost. I would. I'm not kidding you. It doesn't matter. I've been up here 45 years. I could probably figure out my way to the water. Like, if I got lost in the woods, I would totally figure out my way to water, and then I would figure out my way to the road. There's no doubt about that. I'm just very, I would not mess around. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't be trying to say, oh, where's the trail? I would find my way to the water and follow it downstream. Okay, but hopefully I'd be able to do all that in time. So, okay, you see me what I'm doing? I'm just doing one double crochet in each space. That's it. No chains in between, no chains. And look how it's turning. You see? You see how it's variegated. See? This is now the only thing with this, the only thing is, you see these? The fingerless gloves that I made of the granny square? It's the same yarn. But people, hi Gozar, hi. And Moses, hi. And Savi and Lena. Oh, I had an Aunt Lena. She was my favorite aunt. I probably say that every time I see the word Lena, but she was an absolute sweetheart from heaven. So this is the same yarn, and it's a pair. This is a pair of fingerless gloves, so people can wear, but people may not have their mind open enough to be like, oh, okay, well, wait a minute, it looks different, and they may not wear them or want to wear them. So I'm thinking I may have to focus my attention on making the fingerless gloves, like, not with a variegated yarn. Okay, so let's get back to this. So, okay. So this is going along swimmingly. I haven't used that word in a long time. I'm trying to think which work family I was with who used to use the word swimmingly. I think it was one of the nuns I had in 8th grade, she used it swimmingly. And I don't think she used it about my math. I don't think she was describing my math, my work. She would use that word. Oh my God, I just have to make myself laugh today. I don't know. Let's see here. Well, hello there, little Umi and Mashuki. Now they're drying off in the sun. They just love, 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 love the sun. And they sit there, look, they sit there in the sun, yes, and they talk. What do you say? And they ruffle, they're going to ruffle and ruffle their feathers a lot because that's how they dry. That's how they dry off. Okay, so we'll get back over here. Okay, so we've got a little curve going, but it's nothing that is going to be so obstructive to our work. Like, we can keep working here. You know, it's not curling and tight, tight, tight. Yeah, it's not any of that. So this is lovely. We're going to measure it pretty soon. And it's still not at 9 or 9.5 or 10. We'll just measure, I'll show you too if you measure it straight across. This is lovely though. You see the coloring of that? This is going to be a nice hat. Okay. So I'm just going to pull this up. Let me get this stuff. I don't know why I have so much in front of me. All these crochet hooks. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to put this down. Trying to hold it so you can see. Okay. So it's at about 17.5. I'm sorry, 7.5, which is about 14 or 15 inch diameter. So for a small hat, you want about 20 inch diameter. So you see you're at about 7.5. So when you fold it like this and then you measure, you want that to be like a 9 or 10. And you want to also consider the stretch, you know. I do consider that because I know then if it's measuring, you know, if I've got my 9 and it's or my 10 or my 9.5 and it stretches an inch, that's 10.5, that's 21.5. That's small to small medium. That's perfect. That really is a good size. That's a nice, a lot of people, and it is hard to gauge how many people you're going to have come to your craft table that are small or small medium. So you got to remember that. There is medium, there's small, medium, and large, but then there is medium small, okay, or large medium, or medium large, or whatever you want to call it. So in other words, the size that can fit the different ranges. And the more you make your hats, the more you consider that, and you get like a little variety. And keep this with you at your art and craft table, because you want people to measure their heads. Some people you can tell right off the bat they're small, right? And other people you can tell right off the bat they're probably a medium large or something. So you can suggest to them and have your hats in rows, like smalls, large, mediums. Try to have them in rows. Okay. So, man, am I glad the sun is out today. We had a week of no sun. Seriously, it was just rain. And we did need the rain, but it is really nice to have that vitamin D and to have that sun shining in. So I'm just continuing with my single crochet. Now, how do I know if I need to add a chain or I need to change my stitch pattern a little bit? I'll know, because if it gets too floppy, I know that I need to maybe change my hook size and bring it down to like an H or an I or a J, or an H or a J, or something like that. And if it gets too tight and it's curling too much, I need to add some chains in between my stitches. Hi, Gigi, Gigi, kitty, kitty. How are you today? I hope everyone's having a good day. We're into Tuesday already, or Tuesday afternoon. And I'm really, like I said, I really hope Jamaica comes through this with the least amount of damage to their shores and to their cities as is possible. So, okay, so this is doing lovely. Now we were at 7.5, and we did about another close to a round. So let's see where we're at now. I'll do a few more stitches. And so if you want to make a junior size hat, then you're going to have it be like a 16, 17. So when this measured out 8, then you would start curving it, okay, or tightening your stitches. So let's see where we're at now. I'm just going to put this phone down here. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, it's very close to 8. You see, it is like 8. So if this was to be a junior size or kid size, we would start right now at this point, just curving it down. And very quickly we'd have a hat, very quickly. But I'm going to bring it up. I'm bringing it up to, I'm going to about a 9. So I'm going to go, I noticed too, the rounds with the double crochets, very quickly you get an inch after each round, very quickly. And if you did a treble, you'd probably get close to 2 inches. I'm telling you, that's why they make the Afghans with the trebles, because they go very fast. And it's just the length that you get very quickly. So you notice I'm still going in space to space, just 1 double crochet, no chains. I'm still using my large hook, the L hook. And I'm getting some, this is in real time. I mean, we're just moving along. And, but you know, putting a little flower or something, I should put a little flower on this hat. I really should. I mean, it really does. And the other thing is, it picks up your mood. We're going to put some on the little, fingerless gloves also, little flowers on those. Those are cute. That would be really cute. And you can adorn your fingerless gloves like any way you want. That's why I put these little ruffles on there, and all those are chains, and I just used a really small hook, like an H or I, really small hook, and made some tiny little chains. And I think I went like 7 or 8 or 8 or 9, and then I looped it, like slip stitched it back into the same space I started the chain. That's how you get the ruffles, and you just do that all the way around. It does not take that long. Okay, it's kind of like this. This doesn't take long either. I could be sitting and watching the news, but I wanted to jump on here and share this, and I'll be dropping a lot of videos between here and I'll probably take some of these videos and drop them over on YouTube. And just kind of, it's going to be one of those weeks where there could be 3 or 4 videos being dropped in a day. Hi, Holly. And we've done that before when I'm kind of like going a little, wild on creativity. How do I do that and what do I do? This is what I do. Now, first of all, let me share something with you. Many years ago, like almost 30, okay, yeah, it's got to be, because I'm 66 now and I was in my early 30s. It's over 30. Over 30, easily. So I was what they call I was 2 things. I was a program director, and so the program director was an activity director, and I was doing some HR stuff. That's because I had just finished my degrees. Anyway, so during the course of the day, you're talking 8.5 hours a day, every day. And I would go in on Saturday too. Hi, Edmod. I had to put activities together for all different levels of persons with different issues, different things going on. So I would box them into 1 hour increments, 45 minutes, depending what it was, a half an hour, depending what it was, all the way up to 2 hours. So having done that, I kind of trained myself to switch off. You know what I mean? So maybe I would put together something really crafty, and then I would go to something more advanced, and then I would go to something maybe like crochet. So whatever the activities were, they were all art and craft activities. And maybe they were different. Maybe there were events, but whatever what was going on. So when I come to a point like I am right now, and I have the next, okay, so we're going to start curving this, by the way. We're going to measure it. But when I come to this point, like where I am right now, I will say, okay, I'm going to crochet at the end of the day for about 2.5 hours. I'm just going to focus on whatever I'm doing. Maybe I'll start the day with doing these little creatures, my little needle felted rabbits, and maybe after that I'll spend a couple of hours making some little ornaments like this. And that's what I do. I do that. What I did for others for years, I will say, okay, that's how I'm going to do my day. And that's how I do it. So, but the trick is to decide, what am I doing? What do I want made for the art and craft fair? Okay, so let's put this down. And I do miss doing activities for others. I really, honest to God, I do. But that's where I come in and say, okay, well, I can at least write my books and, do like that. Okay, look. So we have a beautiful, look, it's 9.5. Okay, done. Now we can start curving. We can start letting this curve. Now the trick is, when it starts to curve around, you're shaping your hat. What you want to, and it already did start rounding. You see it did. But what you want to do is keep the consistency, because right now we have about a 20 plus inch diameter. Perfect. This is lovely. That's what we want. So we're simply going to continue going around, and it is, now I'm going to be honest, I kind of want to change my hook, because I do like the little curvature that is occurring, but I would like it to be just a tad little bit more. So this is what I'm going to do. I want to make sure, excuse me, I'm just making sure I went all the way around 2 times there. And I need to go a little bit more before I end this round. So just a little bit more. And that's just keeping the consistency of the size of the stitch. Now I'm not changing the size all that much. I'm just going down one size, like JKL, I'm going to J. So it's not that bad. But it is a difference. I mean, you do notice the difference. I just want to make sure I got my round. And so what's going to happen when we start with our J hook is we may have to add a stitch. We may have to add a chain here and there. I'm just trying to see. Oh, did I come to that yet? Yeah, I think it's right over here. You got to kind of stop and look at it to get your rounded, to see where you started your round. And when you're doing the same stitch again and again, like for a number of rounds, that might be a little difficult. You just got to look at it for a minute and you'll see it very clearly. Okay. Okay, so right about here, I'm changing to my J hook, and you'll see it pull in a tiny bit more. I'm not doing any chains right now. I'll know after the first 5 or 6 stitches. Okay, well, hello, Mashuki. They're so cute. I can't believe the things that how they reorganize their cage with their herbs and their millet, and if I put paper in there for them. Okay, so this is 3, 4. I'm just going in each space. 5, and it's curving lovely. So I'm going to continue like that. Now, if I come to a point where I feel like I need to add a stitch to add some, to relax it a little, that's okay. It's not going to throw the balance of your hat off. It's not. You can do that. If you let it get too tight or it gets too loose, that will throw the balance of your hat off. So I'm just going in each space and with no chains and making a double. So I'm staying with my double crochet pattern. That's all I'm doing. Double crochet. Have you ever made a hat with just single crochet? It's lovely. We'll do one. We'll do one. It takes time. It takes time. Now, if you use a larger hook, maybe not so bad, but it's a beautiful effect if you use a smaller hook and you're just simply doing single crochets. I don't know how to do the co-host thing, to be honest. I think I was asking people to DM me and talk to me beforehand about it, but I'll have to familiarize myself with it. Look how lovely this is coming out. It's just, you know, this is going to be smooth. It's going to be lovely. Okay, so this is all in real time, and I'm just staying on here because I'm like, look how much of this hat we've got done together for those of you who have stayed around. Staying around for the grand finale. I think we're doing pretty darn good. Now, if you use a smaller hook, it will pull it in even more, which we will do in a few minutes. But we're going to get these rounds in. Now I'm going to stop and we're going to measure it in a few minutes and making sure we're keeping our consistency of about 20-21 inch diameter. And that 21 is coming from the little stretch. This is lovely. Okay, see how nice and smooth it is? There's no bobbles. there's no bobbles. It's going to be like this one. The bobbles come in if you want bobbles, kind of like just like this one. If you kind of want to put a little design and have it little bobbly, that at this point, what you would do is just skip like 1-2 spaces. And then what it does, see, it pulls it like that. So you get a little bobble. But we're just continuing with our single crochet, with our little bit smaller hook. And we just continue like that. And we already finished a round. And you know how I know? Because I can see the stitches have pulled. So we're going around again. And this, because it's the same size of the last round hook, it will be consistent. It won't pull in too much more. So we're going to measure this right now. We'll put this down. So I encourage you to measure it as like frequently, if you're just you would just want to know where you're at with your hat. Okay, so this is what you're measuring. You're measuring the brim, the edge, because that's what's going to go around the forehead. Okay, that's the part you're slipping down over the head. Look at that. Is that just lovely? So it remains at the 9.5, almost 10. Pretty close, darn close. And the beautiful thing about this hat is if you stretch it, you see? We're going to see if we can get the stretch there. You stretch it, you easily get a little over 10, which is perfect, because that's giving you your 2021. That's perfect. That's what you want. That's what we want. So we're going to continue. And now what we need to do, just so you know, okay, so you need height. You need height from the top, middle here, and down. You want it to be at least 7. Many people make it 8, and we're probably at about 5. We are. Look, we're at 5. You see? So we don't have that far to go. We probably have 3 rows. We have three rows. Now, when you get down to your last few rows, you can get creative and you can swing to your single crochet if you want. You can keep your double crochet. So for the minute, for this segment, I'm just going to stay with my double crochet. And what I might do after the video is just add a few rows of single crochet with a very tiny hook. And that would just be giving it just a little bit of a margin, just a little bit of a border, a closure like that. So, but you see how quick it goes, and it's not pulling, it's staying consistent, it's staying balanced, it's beautiful. It's just lovely. And so then you can start crocheting a little faster, and you're like, yeah, I can really enjoy the crocheting experience because you did all the measuring, the monitoring, you did the, hi Josephina, you did the designing, you designed your own hat. You know, you selected the yarn, you selected the size of the hooks, the stitches, you adjusted it as you went along, adding chains or adding stitches if it got too tight. And if it was too loose, you kind of skipped a stitch consistently around for a round or for 2 rounds. But you see very quickly, I'm going to show you in a minute how quickly you get your depth. So you want to really watch your depth. when I first started making hats, I seriously started to make hats. Like I said, it was over 45 years ago, because I was making them when my kids were babies. And so when I did, the one thing that I had problems with was the depth and actually the diameter. That's why I'm always talking to you about it. I would make them way too big. It was ridiculous. I could not get a perception or a gauge on it. And then I started to really just stop and just measure it right to my head and get a perspective and get a really good idea on what the heck I was doing. And then I did even more research and found out what the general measures were, and that's what I did. So this is a really nice, this hat, look, this hat is coming out lovely. This hat will be for someone specific. You know what I mean? It's like people walk up and say, that hat was made for me. True. I totally believe that. Some people wear their hair, like my hair, I wear it in a ponytail. It's really short, so I wear it down in a ponytail so it doesn't affect the hat. Some people, their ponytails, and when I was way younger, I too had ponytail, would affect, whoops. Oh, I guess it's coming up for us to end our video. It's giving us a little puzzle piece and telling me, so I'm very confused with the TikTok on the amount of time and what I'm supposed to be doing nowadays, because I get different messages. Oh, you could have stayed on 20 more minutes or whatever. And then other messages as it kicks me off. Okay, so it's kind of giving us heads up. So at this point, we pretty much made our hat. And this is a beautiful, lovely hat. So what I'm going to do is make up some flowers. Hi, Caroline. Amolioso. Hi, Amafio. Oh, Mafios. Okay. Hi. Hope you're doing, having a good day. What I'm going to do is make up some flowers and come back on with this complete. And, okay. And let's just do the measure quickly of the height, just so you can see before we go. So I guess time has really flown, but we made a whole hat together. Okay? So, okay, we got a little bit more than our 5. We got about 6. And if we even stretched it easily, we've got to our 7. So I'm just going to continue working on this in rounds. And then, like I said, I'll make up some flowers and I'll come back on in a little while. It's already 4 o'clock, so it'll probably be close to supper time, but not too far past that. So, you know, like in an hour or so. So I'll see you in a bit. Thank you so much for being with me. Get out your crochet hook, get some yarn, come along with me, and we'll make a couple of flowers together in about an hour. Have a good rest of the afternoon.